Hey listeners, did you know that YogiTriathlete offers endurance coaching for body and mind? We offer personalized training plans for endurance sports, wellness and mindset, nutrition and recovery guidance, and race preparation and strategy, all within the supportive community of Team YogiTriathlete. So if you're ready to conquer your fitness goals and push your limits, our endurance coaches are ready to guide you on the journey to peak performance. Go to YogiTriathlete.com today to set up your free 30-minute discovery call and embrace a future of strength, stamina, and achievement. Your goals, our experience, the perfect match for unstoppable success.
In Boulder, in 2009, I raced my fastest half-ironman, and that lasted all the way until 2 days ago in Springfield, when on Sunday, June 9th, I went out and raced my heart out and finished the race with my fastest half-ironman, 34 seconds faster than in 2009. So 15 years ago, 15 years have passed. Injuries have come. We've moved twice in that time. I've had tons of fitness, lack of fitness. There's so many things in my life have changed. And I've been able to step up and race my fastest race, 15 years older.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Yogi Triathlete podcast. I am not sitting with my co-host BJ for this episode of the O Show, but he is in front of me, coming to me from Massachusetts. He's just coming off of Ironman 70.3, Western Massachusetts. He is in his childhood home, phoning in for this O Show. So thanks so much for joining us. We're going to dive into his race and some other things towards the end. So make sure you listen all the way to the end because we got some cool things that just launched into the world. Beej, welcome from your sister's childhood bedroom.
I had to go through, it's good to be here, of course. I had to go through like which room would I go in. And growing up, obviously in the 60s and 70s, there was tons of carpet. Great for podcasting. Now in the 2000s, everything in my house is wood, thank God, wood floors. So I had to find the smallest room with the most stuff in it. So I'll let your imagination run wild. So yes, I'm in my sister's bedroom on her daybed, coming to you live from Westport, Massachusetts, where I grew up.
Dude, that daybed is not new.
No, there's a lot of things in here that are not new. I may have even brought in the newest things. And I have some old things that I, in terms of what I have. No, it's great. It's good.
I'm sure there's some of our stuff there from like when we got rid of everything.
Oh, yes. So
I remember your mom came into the house. It was like we had been robbed. It was so good. She took so much stuff. So what have you seen?
I looked to the side of my dad's recliner and there was the floor buff that I guess we gave to Timmy and then Timmy gave to my dad so that we could massage ourselves like that Theragun.
Oh, the Ryobi orbital floor buffer. Yes.
So that's where it went. It's like in my house. Here, my dad uses it.
I don't know if we've ever talked about that. So it's a Ryobi, RYOBI. And I guess it was like 2013 when I was in yoga teacher training. And one of the girls who was in the program brought this power tool essentially into class. And we realized that it's an orbital buffer. And if you put, not the sandpaper, but if you put the soft cover on it, it's like, it does vibration, it does warming. It's not like a Theragun that's like boom, 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 but it offers some really great self-care. So when we did get to California, we actually ended up buying another one. That's so funny. I know when I go home to my parents' house, I always drink out of those, remember those great white coffee cups? I love those coffee cups and my parents still have them. Yeah. From Crate and Barrel. I think it was a wedding gift a million years ago. But anyway.
I'm sure I could work my way around the house and find some things. I just choose not to.
Yeah. I'm 100% sure some of the artwork that was in our house is in that house?
It's probably I'm probably looking at it over here, tucked behind the built-in cabinets for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cabinets. All right. Let's jump into your race. This was pretty amazing. A pleasant surprise as far as like what your time was and what that meant over the course of your career. So let's start there. What was that end result? What did that look like in the course of your 20? I feel like we've been saying you've been in the sport for 20 years for like 2 years. I think you've been in the sport for over 20 years. But anyway, what did that look like, that time on Sunday?
So it was Ironman 70.3 Massachusetts, Western Massachusetts, Springfield. And as you know, and probably can conclude that I grew up in Massachusetts. So I never made it to Springfield growing up. And the race came onto my radar when it first appeared last year. So this is the second year of the race. And I figured it's a good lead in to Lake Placid, about 6 weeks, 5 weeks now out from Lake Placid. So yes, I like to do a half Ironman anywhere between 3 and 6 weeks before an Ironman. I think it really sets the tone for some good prep to see how your training's going, work with nutrition, just shake out the cobwebs if it's the first race of the season. So in 2009, I did Ironman. No, it wasn't Ironman. It was the 5430 half distance triathlon put on by our buddy.
Very stiff.
Very stiff. Oh my God. So I'm a little sleep deprived. Please bear with me here. So in Boulder in 2009, I raced my fastest half Ironman. And that lasted all the way until 2 days ago in Springfield, when on Sunday, June 9th, I went out and raced my heart out and finished the race with my fastest half Ironman, 34 seconds faster than in 2009. So 15 years ago, 15 years have passed. Injuries have come. We've moved twice in that time. I've had tons of fitness, lack of fitness. Just so many things in my life have changed. And I've been able to step up and race my fastest race, 15 years older. So I was talking about this a little in the event I hosted Monday night at Rhode Island Power Yoga, where I shared a little bit of my story that age is just a number. Yes, we hear that, but is it truly just a number? Do you believe? What do you believe? What do you share? What do you tell people? Do you want that to be the story? Do you want to be, hey, I'm just getting older, so I'm slowing down? Or are you willing to put yourself into what's possible? Defy logic. Be limitless. Choose that you are that unique one person that things don't apply to. And I love how Bob talks about that too. Many times he likes statistics. Yeah, don't apply to me. So I just believe that I'm getting faster and stronger as I age. And so that was demonstrated on Sunday. I did 4:42:07, I believe, and came in 7th in my age group with the, I think it ended up being like the 7th or 8th fastest run of the day. So I'm super pumped about that because I am training for an Ironman. And it's good to showcase some speed and some strength at a half Ironman distance.
So I was talking to a client of mine, actually a professional athlete, and they wanted to know, well, what did you do to PR, to break a 15-year record? What did you do different? And I think you have done some things different in this training block. Not that this was, you actually even kind of forgot about this race. You were like, oh my God, I have a race like in 2 weeks. So obviously it wasn't the focus because the focus is on Ironman Lake Placid. But what have you done in this lead up, including Oceanside, Ironman Texas, Ironman Western Massachusetts? You already have 3 races under your belt. I feel like you have dialed up some things or shifted some things around. Let's just talk physical training because we also have a question about nutrition and we'll address that.
Physical training has changed slightly for sure. But I love this question because everybody wants to know what was that one thing that you changed? Can you pinpoint? And we asked this to our podcast guests when we interview them. And I truly understand the answer now. It's not just one thing. It's consistently moving forward through the ebbs and flows of the training cycle and training cycles and decades of training to stay the course. How many of you can say I stayed the course? How many of you, do a year build into a race and then you just stop? And then you wonder why it's taking you so long to get back and get that next PR. I think it's a relentless pursuit. Every day, every week, every month, every year, moment to moment, chasing down what you believe is possible and detaching from that outcome. So with that said, I know I've done a few things that have come back to, let's say, in my training as now a 51-year-old endurance athlete. One of those things that I've done is more race specific speed off of my long bikes. And really, I've done that off of both my hard and long bikes each week. So I was given this advice from Lucho a long time ago, leading into an Ironman, 2 long rides, one of 3 to 4 hours and one of 5 to 6 hours, and stay committed to that over the course of the build, and then run off the bike. And so my rides have been Thursday and Saturday, 4 to 5 hours on Thursday, 5 to 6 hours on Saturday, and then running off the bike at ever increasing timeframes. So 20 minutes, then 30 minutes, and then building to 40 and 50, and then an hour, all at targeted or slightly faster than targeted marathon pace. So it was all marathon pace work up to Massachusetts, except for the week leading in, I did 10 times 1K around the neighborhood, repeats at half-ironman effort. So that's all I did.
That was your half-ironman specific training once you remembered that you actually had a race and flights booked. And
yeah, I love that though. I think that's probably part of why this wasn't such a big stressor for me, because I didn't really focus on it. It was kind of part of the journey along the way. And I was willing to go in with the fitness that I had and just see what happens on the day, not trying to attach too much to specifics in the race. However, I'm sure we'll get into the race, but there was one point I thought I was leading my age group in the race, and I just believed that. Whether it was true or not, it didn't matter. And now we know I was not leading the race on the bike in my age group. So it certainly helped me to have that belief. I wasn't getting so fixated on the truth of it. I just believed that I was leading the race. And how would I lead a race? Don't stop. Don't slow up. Don't slow down.
yeah, it's a great mindset to be in, right? Like to be in that energy of winning, you want to win your age group. I know that's a goal of yours. You want to win your age group at an Ironman. And so be in that winning energy. And if you feel like you're in it, don't question it. Be in it. Anything else that I know you've done some stuff with running off the bike, but what about, I feel like you've done some different stuff on the trainer and your trainer rides.
Yeah, back to threshold work on the trainer, back to the not over-unders, but 95 to 100% of FTP. So threshold work, maybe a little bit of sweet spot work, and just done that on the trainer. And then when I go out and ride, I've reincorporated Palomar Mountain again. And I've got about 4 summits of Palomar Mountain, and getting in when I can't get out there, or when time is against me, it's on the trainer for the low cadence big gear work. And I've stayed committed to that. And I think that has really, really helped me dial in race specific intensity and allowing my body to catch up to the training. Meaning, this was a practice I did in Oceanside, was I didn't go out too hot on the bike, because I know I begin to get some sensation or weakness in my glute. Like it doesn't feel like it's activated. So if I just spin a high cadence and push just a little bit, eventually 20, 30 minutes later, I'm able to engage and able to recruit that muscle. So that's been a big component on the bike. Yeah, I don't know if I've done too much differently than that. Yeah. And swimming, as you know, swimming hasn't been, ideal, or has it been ideal for allowing me to bike and run more and less swimming? I did get up to 12,000 yards one week. Other than that, it's been 7 to 8,000 K a week. And frequency has been the jam with swimming. Now that I've got more mobility in my shoulder, just getting frequency there has been really helpful.
Yeah. Well, we had some teammates there too. Anybody you want to talk about and celebrate? And yeah, of course you do. That's what you love so much.
Absolutely. Chris Bruce, longtime yogi. I think he's 5 years. We had talked about 5 years he's been with the team. He came out. I've never raced with Chris. Never raced with him in 5 years. Never raced with him. I did spectate Placid when he did his first Ironman 2 years ago, but I didn't race with him. So we finally were able to race together, and we're going to race Placid together. So it was great to be in person with him and, work through his challenges, but also got to give a shout out to his daughter, Claire, who was one of our first athletes when we embarked on the Ride the High Vibe tour across the country. She was living in Placid. We connected and we guided her through her first Ironman while training in Lake Placid through the winter without being able to swim until about a month before the race because of options up there. So I love Chris and Claire. It was amazing to be in their energy and see Chris come across the finish line. Super, super powerful. But also talk about Brendan, his second Ironman, second 70.3 of his life, second one of the year. He flew out to do Oceanside with us. He lives in Rhode Island, so Massachusetts was a stone's throw away, and crushed the course. In his strategy, I gave him a little leeway and freedom in the bike to sort of push it, because I know his fitness and experience and confidence has been shifted. So that's when you allow athletes to take a little bit more risk and being willing to give yourself the chance to perform like you believe you can and not attached to how that is actually going to be executed. So he had a great race, crushed it, sub-3 bike, and was strong on the run, and then he collapsed afterwards. So he definitely put the effort out there. So yeah, it was great to have Brendan out there. And then Abby came to us to do her first half Ironman. She lives in Tucson and in New Hampshire, splits time. Came to one of your retreats in Rhode Island and was introduced to YogiTriathlete. And then when she was ready, jumped on board. She is so strong. She's so strong, so committed, and so joyful in the experience. And so I encourage you to look at our Instagram posts, because I reposted her photos and recap today on Instagram. And she's just smiling and soaking up that finish line, getting the crowd riled up, and truly exemplified what we do here at YogiTriathlete. Just it's all about enjoying what you're doing, committing to yourself, crossing the finish line with limitless joy and excitement, and then being able to perform after. Like it looked like she had not even raced when she was done, although I'm sure she was working through some things, but she was moving around and really I caught up with her today, and yeah, she had the best experience and so much growth along the way. The journey was definitely fulfilling for her, especially on the swim. And then Andrew, awesome job showing up and getting out there and representing YogiTriathlete, doing Massachusetts. He's came up from Philadelphia, and yeah, it was so fulfilling to see Andrew execute the day and come across that finish line. Huge congrats to him and the rest and the rest of the team that was cheering us on from afar. We felt the joy. The WhatsApp group was really firing on all cylinders.
Yeah. We have a WhatsApp group for the team and then like individual races, but then the team one was really getting riled up before the race, and then there was like some serious sign up for Ironman Arizona pressure that was coming in afterwards, which was so fun to see. something that I had talked with Abby about when she got her kit was she was like, whoa, this is so fashion forward. Like, I love the kit. And I said, just wait till you wear it. Spectators love the YogiTriathlete gear. You're going to get so much attention. And she just sent me a message today saying she got so much attention. And she said the whole time she was like recruiting people to join the team because she was just having so much fun and she loved her outfit. And, yeah, it was so cool. So cool. But yeah, it was really great to see everybody in uniform and, the power of community. And there was a video of Chris and Andrew on the run together. Just that like 13 seconds is just, it's like the finish line, like when you get to the finish line of whatever it is, but let's just speak specifically about Ironman. And it just like all the sacrifice, all the getting up early, all the hurt, all the suffering, and it all just makes sense, when you're on that red carpet and seeing that video of those guys in their uniforms and running together and supporting one another. It was like, as the owner, co-owner of this coaching company, it was like, my God, yeah, it's those moments that make everything we have and are traversing worth it. It was really incredible. What a race. Anything, any struggles during the race, any high points during the race? I want to hit upon a couple things or anything that you can impart, any wisdom?
For that particular race?
Yeah.
You think? Yeah. I love the race. I got to say, Springfield, Massachusetts is not my first go-to race location, but I have to really share that I loved this course. I love this course. So why do I love this course? Let's talk about it. The swim is, yes, it is downriver. I didn't feel a huge current pulling me down. It's pretty shallow, super easy. It's point to point. Buoys are always on your left. Water was just borderline wetsuit legal, so it wasn't cold, which is like, I mean, come on, that's my jam. I really enjoyed that walk from transition, which is in a parking garage, so you're not going to get wet. That was pretty cool. And you walk from the parking garage a mile down to the swim start, so it's quite a long walk. And one thing I would note is they don't open the porta-johns in transition. So if you would like to use the porta-johns, you rack your bike, you get everything ready, get off, and then you start walking down to the swim start as soon as you can, because there's tons of bathrooms down there and they were wide open by the time we got there. So don't freak out about the bathrooms. I say get your stuff. You shouldn't be lingering in transition anyway. Get your stuff on the bike, set it up, and get out of there.
How did you, because you said you were like one of the first people in the water. So how did you get yourself to the front of the group?
So we got there around 5:30. The swim start was 6. So at 5:30, they were saying like, if you're in the 27 or under, or 30 under swim corral, like make your way to the start. And so that's when I started to put my wetsuit on and I started to run up and down this ramp, this like hill that people would walk down to get into the swim start. So I just kept running up and down as people started to come in. And then finally, with like 15 minutes to go, I just was able to just walk to the front and I just hung out there and I went right into the breathing exercises because I had felt a little bit of like energy. So I just started breathing and yeah, it was like the third group of 4 that got into the water.
Nice. How was the bike course?
Bike course is phenomenal. It was super fun. Meaning, and Santa Cruz is good and kind of fun, but this Massachusetts one is really fun because I felt I was surprised by how many hills there were. Not just the big hill that they talk about, but there were many hills. But there were
there's always the big hill.
Yes.
I love it.
And the downhills were fast. And then there were lots of flat sections and buttery smooth roads. for 85% of it. I would say the road conditions, not your typical New England road conditions. I don't know if it's something they did or the route that they chose, or just because it isn't what you normally think. I think the road conditions were great. No yard sales with any water bottles all over the place from things kicking up. But you can really stay seated the whole time on this course, seated or arrow. You don't necessarily need to stand up. Although I did twice just at the end of a hill to kind of stretch my back and sort of crest the hill to carry the momentum down. It was super fun. I had a blast. So yeah, the bike course, nothing really stands out except I thought I was leading the race because there were moments there that I didn't have anybody around me, and there's no cones and there's no markings on the road because it goes through a little bit through Connecticut, and I guess in Connecticut they didn't allow people to mark the road, so they'd had sandwich boards that said where you were. But I think they sort of blew down because if you hadn't heard, there was torrential downpours happening towards the end of the bike that I was finishing, but towards the mid pack of the bikers behind me. So I didn't experience that. I experienced a little bit of drizzle. But yeah, overall, the bike course was epic. It's one of my favorite courses. Yeah.
Wow. I feel like I'm surprised to hear you say this.
Me too. I'm surprised myself.
And then, tell us about the run. And then I want to jump into a question that we had about nutrition in general.
Yeah, I came off the bike just as the rain was really starting to come down. And you exit into the parking garage. And the way the transition is set up, it's a big oval inside, and there's bikes on either side. But everybody has to run in, left, around, and go around the whole inside of the parking garage to get out on the other side. So I was set up closest to the run exit. So I had to run the whole length of transition with my bike up until like the final rack. I'm literally like 2 racks away from the exit. So I was running barefoot because I'd gotten out of my bike shoes, kept the shoes clipped to the bike, ran into transition. And right across from me was what I now know was the lead female age grouper. She was, we biked together for the last 20 miles, and she beat me out of transition by, I don't know, about 15, 20 seconds. But I was like, we were just chatting a little bit. I forgot what we were chatting about. But we had a little conversation as we were putting on our shoes, headed out of transition, felt pretty good, ran out. First thing I see on the right, my family, my dad, my brother, his wife, my nephew. It was amazing, like, to have my family there.
Had you not seen them yet?
I had not seen them yet, no. But I knew that they were coming. I just didn't know where I would see them. They don't normally come to races, so the logistics, if you know, as spectators, is kind of hard sometimes. And especially with the rain, I didn't think that they would be standing out in the rain, but they were. And that sort of lit me up a little bit. Not a little bit, a lot. So I was certainly running from joy and excitement, and the adrenaline was kicking up. So yeah, then it started to rain. So we're running in pouring rain, I would say, for the first 45 to 60 minutes of this race. And that didn't really affect me. I wasn't too cold. Oh, that's another thing. People were getting cold on the bike later on because of the rain. I sort of missed that window. My fingers were a little cold and a little numb, but nothing too bad. And got out of the run at about 1.5 miles. It's a steady grind climb. Like, all I can think about is trail running. You just get to trail running and you're like, here it is. Here's that hill. And you just have to like dig in and keep those legs moving. Keep pushing the earth away was coming to me really strongly. Keep pushing the earth away. And I'm not going to walk. Not going to walk. So that was the first hill. But there were other hills in the park, for sure. So it's a lollipop. You run out, 2-3 miles, and then you start to do a loop in the park. It's about 3 or 4 miles in the park, and then you do it again, and then you run out and back to the finish. So there were some loops, there were some hills and rollers in that section in the park, and I was feeling pretty good. I had some moments of slowing down a little bit just because the steepness of the hill was just that big. But also, what goes up, must come down. So I think that trail running, or having the experience of running trails like we do, bombing down, was critical. I gapped so many people that I was running with before the downhills that I never saw again. So I was able to carry that down, the swinging arms, the really sending it, not allowing, that central governor to come in and say, hey, hold back, like you're smashing your quads right now. That never really came in. It was like, I'm going for it and I'm going to carry the momentum and keep going. So I knew I was around 7-minute pace for the run just because it kept beeping. And occasionally I would look down every time a mile split would happen, but I wasn't obsessed with it. I just said, I got to keep going. Came out of the park and got to that hill. There's a hill on the other side of the big one that you climb up. So got to that one and really pushed myself to get over that hill. That was the most challenging moment. Back to your question about the most challenging moment. It was that hill. And I just knew I needed to keep running. I had passed the lead age group female at that point, just by 10 or 15 seconds on the previous downhill. And so I could hear the bike behind me because she had the lead bike with her. And I just kept trucking up the hill, recovered on the flat, and then sent it on the downhill. And as I sent it and came around the final turn off the downhill and you turn left flat, I saw Abigail. And then she was all fired up. She's like, Beach! She's so energetic. And then right behind her was her brother, who she was racing with and against. And so it was good to
beat him.
And beat him. So it was good to see her ahead of him. She gave me, I think we did a high five. But I was hurting. I was focused at that point because I looked down at my watch. And at that point, I knew I was 0.7 to 8 miles from the finish. And I was at 127 on the run. And I wanted to break 130. So was that a reality at that moment? I didn't really get consumed with that. I just focused on, you have to push. This is it. You have to kick it into gear and not worry about cramping or nutrition or passing out. Just, you have to kick it. No matter what, you're going to give your best effort from here to the finish. And so that's what I did. And really don't remember much of that finishing line. I didn't see my parents where they were. I saw Matt. That's okay. Now that it's coming back to me, I saw Matt with about 200, 300 meters to go before the finish. Matt is Abigail's husband. He was out there. So grateful for him out there. He got some great photos, video, cheering us on. He was awesome.
I was wondering if you were getting splits, but it doesn't sound like on the run course there were spectators. Kind of like, it sounds like almost like an Oregon run course minus the big hills. Like, did you go over?
It's exactly yeah. I'm glad you mentioned that. That's exactly what it is. The support out there was not very. The aid station's awesome. People at the aid station's great. Random people outside their front yards in chairs. That was awesome. But you didn't get the that spectator crowds that you get, at more condensed races, like in Arizona or something, compact. But pushed it to the finish after I saw Matt and ran across the finish line and saw that I had not gotten my fastest run times, but I was okay with that. I definitely gave my best effort and looked over to the left, and there was my dad and one of my brothers, Andrew, and just kind of broke down a little bit. Yeah. I think I'd put a lot into that effort, and I don't get to see my family that often. And it was just good to see them there, supporting me. And, it was quite a emotional moment. And I didn't know I had my fastest 70.3 until either that night I texted you, because I went back on results and checked it out. But, I didn't know until that night, that it was my fastest, but finished 7th in my age group, 10 minutes off the win. So quite a lot of work to do there. which is okay. Willing to do it, but overall, super primed for Placid after this experience.
Nice. Well, I've been calling you the master of getting faster. Because that's really what you are. You're our master coach and you keep getting faster. So, and the people who train with you are also getting faster as well. And then, Coach Melissa's clients are also benefiting from all of that knowledge as you continue to mentor her and she continues to, come into her unique style of coaching. It's really cool. Really, really great. Really cool community. All right. I want to jump in. Bill had a question on Patreon, and I thought we could talk about this because you could talk about what you used for your nutrition for Massachusetts because it was new. But he says, can you talk about your current recommendations for hydration and calorie intake for long distance events? I'm still on Goo Roctane, but I've heard you talk about the right stuff and others in SmackDowns. Always appreciate your shared wisdom. So right stuff. Yeah. Like, if you're not using the right stuff, start using the right stuff. It literally is the right stuff. This stuff is amazing, developed for astronauts by NASA. So it's pretty dialed in. And we discovered it a couple of years ago, 2022 in Costa Rica. So yeah, why don't you tell us about what you used and like what your goals were? Because I know you've upped calories and you've upped carbs per hour, and then also incorporating right stuff into that.
Yeah, if you're not using the right stuff, you're most certainly using the wrong stuff. So please take note. This is really good fuel. Well, not fuel. It's actually electrolytes. There's no calories in it. It's all basically sodium and electrolytes. So yeah, really good exploration into a new nutrition plan because I felt like I left a little bit on the table in Texas. I didn't have the energy or, something just didn't feel right. So I switched to, well, let's talk about, should I go through each discipline? Yeah. All right. So swim, a gel, typically gel, a goo gel and water, 10 to 15 minutes before the swim start. That's it. And then I roll into the bike. And on the bike, this time, I biked 2.5 hours. I carried enough fuel for 3 to 4 hours, so I was prepared. I took in Blink Nutrition. It's a new company formula that I'm working with, given to us by Eli Hemming, who we had on the podcast and seemed to be working for him. The solution that I'm using is their high carb. It is 400 calories per serving and 100 grams of carbs per serving, only 200 milligrams of sodium per serving. So what do you do with the sodium? You add in the right stuff. That's what I did. I did 3 water bottles. I only have 2 water bottle holders on my bike, but I have a front hydration system that held the third solution. And I went through 2.5, I would say, 2 water bottles were gone, and then half of my front hydration was gone. I didn't take in anything else. Sometimes I'll take in a gel or a banana from the course, but it was cooler conditions. Like I said, it was rainy, and this was already more than I have been taking in the past. And I felt really good on the bike. I didn't have any moments of stomach distress or squashiness or, overindulging in it. So that was it. What I did for right stuff is I only took 1 packet and I split it between the 3 water bottles. So that was something new. Versus like a whole right stuff in every water bottle. I just knew the sun wasn't really going to peak out till later. And although I'm a heavy sweater, I felt like I had plenty in me already from my fuel the days before and from hydrating the days before. Onto the run, I carried 1 small flask with the right stuff and just water. That was going to be basically my salt tablets. That's something different that I've done in the past. And then I also carry 2 new gel things. What are they? I can't remember what they're called.
SIS.
SIS. Thank you. So I did 2 SIS gels that I carried with me. Why? If you listen to our podcast with Jennifer Volman about Oceanside, the SmackDown, she used it. It's great because it's very liquidy. You don't need to drink water with it. You can just shoot it down. and it will absorb and not be so heavy on your palate. So I only used one of those. I used it at mile 3, and then I supplemented with cola and water at every aid station. I did have a second SIS gel with me. I made the decision at mile 8 not to take it in. And then I also made a decision at mile 9 not to take it in because of the intensity that I was running at. I had this urge to just keep with cola, stick with water, take my Right Stuff solution, and that would carry me through. I felt engaged, I felt aware, and I felt like I could push. And looking back now, I would have changed that. I would have taken the gel to see how I could perform. Maybe I could perform a little bit better and be willing to risk any potential stomach distress that happened and work with it. Because I do work with a lot of that in training. Sometimes I'll go beyond what I know is manageable just to test it out. So that's what I use. I think Blank Nutrition, a big win there. SIS gels, big win there. And then, of course, the Right Stuff, keeping me balanced with electrolytes. Spot on.
Yeah, it's and really we started working with increasing our carbs per hour after our podcast with Penny Slater, who came in second at Ironman Texas. And so I think before we were at like maybe 60 to 80 with gels and stuff for carbs per hour. And now we're both pushing it up to about 100 and then increasing calories up to 400 an hour, which makes sense if you did a 2.5 hour bike and you went through 2.5 of your supply.
Yeah. And I had to make sure that I took it in because this was something I was talking with athletes afterwards. Their hands were cold. So to reach down and grab your water bottle was tough. So instead of reaching down to grab it, they would skip the nutrition. They would skip that fueling spot. They didn't have confidence in the grip of your hands. So I had to have a focused effort to reach for the water bottle, consume it, slow down a little bit, and then put it back in because I didn't have full control of my hands either. It's kind of like a weakness, and you don't want to drop your water bottle, obviously, with your nutrition in it. So really important to get that.
You have those crazy gorilla grip.
Oh yeah, bottle cages. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
I think that was good. I hope we answered Bill's question. But yeah, that's where we're going. 100 grams of carbs per hour, which you want to build up to. 400 calories an hour, which you want to build up to, and Right Stuff for sure. Right Stuff. And then we are fans of Coke on the Run.
Yeah. It tasted really good. I really like that.
And then you use the little goo flask. Yeah, I do that too. So I have, it's like a little empty flask that you buy, and then I put water and Right Stuff in there, and then I can just shove it right in the front of my sports bra, and I take that on with me on the run, and that seems to work really well.
Yeah,
the SIS gels.
I'm glad I had that little flask. It fits into the back pocket of our gear a little bit better than the trail running soft flasks, and it's just enough. It was the first time, I got to be honest, it's the first time I actually had Right Stuff in water. And it tasted just like you pour a bunch of salt into water and you
it's intense. Yeah, super intense.
So one thing I want to mention is the Blank Nutrition. You can get the flavoring. You can go lighter or greater when you order the high carb solution. So I think I'm going to try going lighter on the flavor next time because we add in the Right Stuff. So that adds more flavor. So maybe just take it a step back on the flavor. Yeah.
Good call. Awesome. That was an incredible race. Congratulations to all my teammates. Really fun to watch and really awesome to see the community come together. And then next stop is going to be Ironman Oregon. And I'll be there with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 YogiTriathlete teammates. And then you'll be in Placid with, is it just Chris? No, and Stephanie.
Stephanie and Ben.
Oh, and Ben. Yes. Nice. Awesome. So look out for us. We are in awesome gear by Zoot, YogiTriathlete right across the front. You can't miss it. So if you see us out there, please give us a shout. We'd love to say hello or shoot a high five. We need support too when we're out there, and we want to support you as well. And I think let's just switch gears and then we'll wrap this up. We've got a couple cool things that we have just launched into the world. If you listened to the Smackdown, the Oceanside Smackdown with Jennifer Volman and BJ, Jennifer and I alluded to something that we were going to be putting together, and we have launched it. We've done a little bit of a passive launch because we want to give it to our podcast guests, people on our newsletter list, and our team. But we have a women's wellness adventure weekend in Sedona. It's November 8th to the 11th. We have rented 2 gorgeous homes in the Cathedral Rock area of Sedona. And it is a Friday to a Monday. We're going to stock the fridges with amazing food. We're going to provide dinner. We're going to have activities every day. We're going to do some learning about Ayurveda, and it's for all levels. There'll be trail running, there'll be hiking. We're going to do yoga, and we're going to cook you dinner every night. And I think right now it's really small. Like, we've only rented 2 houses. So we had 6 spots total. Right now we have 4 spots left. So if you hear this and you want to check it out, go to findingendurance.com, which is Jennifer's website. And you can find it there. You can also find it in the link on my bio on Instagram, Jess Gumkowski, and also through Jennifer Volman. That is her handle on Instagram. So this is the first time her and I have created something together, and it's awesome because she's just like meticulous with details and she gets stuff done, and I absolutely love it. So I think we work really well together, and cannot wait to execute this offering to the women who are signing up and joining us. So please, if you're interested, a few of you had reached out after that Oceanside podcast saying, oh, please let me know what it is that you're creating and when you're doing it. So I have reached out to those people, and grab your spot because there's only 4 left. And if we get enough people, we'll rent another house. But right now we're just keeping it this nice, small, intimate. There are private rooms, and then there's 1 shared room available. And then, do you want to say the other thing that we have just launched into the world?
Galapagos, baby.
A Galapagos baby?
Yeah. Well, you're going, this is, by the time this launches, you'll be in. I
will. Yeah. So this will launch to Patreon actually Monday. So I won't be gone yet. But when this goes to the public, I will be 3 days into the Galapagos Yoga Adventure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we'll be running one next year. So 2025, you and I will be co-hosting, co-leading, co-teaching, all of it next year, which is like, we haven't, believe it or not, you and I haven't done a retreat together, like a adventure retreat together. We've done retreats here in Carlsbad. We've taught yoga together. We've done camps together, but we haven't led a retreat together. So if you're listening to this and have considered always going on retreat with Jess and myself to get the best of both worlds, this is your opportunity. And there's limited space. There's 10 spots, but you and I take 2 of them, right? So then there's 8. No, we don't. There's 10 total. Okay. 10 total.
Yep. There's 10. And right now we have 6 spots available. So this is adventure travel grounded in a daily yoga practice. Everything is optional, but we will be swimming with sea lions, and we will be snorkeling. And we go to this place called Las Grietas, which is this swimming hole in this like volcanic canyon. We're going to Charles Darwin's Research Center. There's always a cultural piece to it. So we're actually meeting with some local artisans, and we'll be learning some wood carving techniques, a lot of boat trips. We'll be visiting some of the islands, hiking. We stay in these eco luxury villas on a property. I think it's about 12 acres, this property, and we take over. There's only 2 villas, and we take over those villas. And so we have the whole property to ourselves. It's on the migration path of the giant tortoise. So there's tortoises just chilling out, and wild horses, and there's hiking trails. It's really incredible. Once you land and get off the plane, everything is taken care of. You are driven around, you are fed, you are cared for. We have a certified naturalist guide with us, English speaking guide with us for the entire week. And right now there is 6 spots left, which means 3 rooms are left. We have 1 couple room left for couple occupancy that has a private bathroom. And then the other 2 rooms share a bathroom, and those can be either couple or singles. So yeah, this is a once in a lifetime bucket list trip. It is an investment. It is a huge adventure. And we'd be thrilled to have you with us. So stay tuned to lots of delicious content. I will be doing my best to get that up and out there. I will be there from the 22nd to the 29th of June this year.
So exciting. So exciting. I mean, it's a year from now.
Oh, it's April 26th to May 3rd. That would be helpful.
Yeah, the dates. So you have plenty of time to prepare, plan, get things in order. If you have questions, reach out to us. We can answer anything.
Yeah, and it's for both of the retreats, it's a $500 deposit, and then for the Galapagos, there is an option to do a pay-as-you-go at no additional cost, which is incredible. And so I think I've talked about this before with Patagonia, because this adventure is also in partnership with the Travel Yogi. And you can just kind of throw whatever money at it at any time over these coming months and get your balance paid down and then enjoy this incredible adventure. We also still have room on the Patagonia adventure. We're 50% full, but that's a bigger capacity that can take more people. But again, we take over properties. It's incredible. My God, they are meticulously crafted, culturally immersive, life-changing adventures. And so there is always a way. And if you need help finding that way and wrapping, yourself into a mindset that can get you there, reach out to us. We're here to help.
Fantastic. Can't wait. So come along with us, please.
I get to go next week. I'm so excited.
You do.
It's a recon mission.
Yeah. Collect lots of video, photos. I'm sure the turtles will be pretty easy to photograph. They're not moving too quickly. Although I was talking to Michaela today, and I guess you can't miss them. They're so huge. When they cross the road, they just got to stop and watch. They're just enormous. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I can't wait. All right. Well, awesome. Thanks for joining me we are literally coast to coast right now.
Coast to coast.
Nice. And we're about to jump on another meeting. So I will see you on that meeting.
All right.
After we wrap this up. All right. Thank you everyone for joining us. Thanks for supporting the show. This YogiTriathlete podcast is one of the OG podcasts in the endurance sports space. And we've got some exciting things coming with YogiTriathlete, actually some pretty massive shifts that we are working on and patiently and carefully putting these things together. So there will be a new opportunity for people to be a part of the community. And that's all I'll say for now. But I would say we're going to see this unveiling soon over the summer, this coming months.
Yeah.
And can't wait to get it out there into the world.
And if you want first alert, be notified, get to our website, sign up, get us your email. You won't be sent stuff you don't want. This is strictly just first come, first serve. Basically, you're going to get the news first. And we do release things like this to our communities first and then the public second. So get on that list to be notified of all the exciting things that are happening behind the scenes of YogiTriathlete, which has been in existence forever. We just manifested it in the past 8 years, and it continues to morph into something bigger and greater than just Jess and I. So thank you for following along.
We're nothing when it comes to this. It's the community. It's you guys. It's not us. So thank you all so much.